Hey everybody, my name is Russ. That is Lauren. Welcome to our Thursday discussion video about music and just general topics and things that come up in the car. And recently we have been kind of on a Steve Winwood kick in our house because you bought Arc of a Diver.
I did.
I found Chronicle on vinyl and whatnot. So we've kind of been listening to that. Between that and Traffic, somewhere along the line, you decided to revisit one of our favorite series, which is 5 songs to start with. And Steve Winwood is one of those cats that's been in like a couple of different groups. Depending on your age level, you either unfortunately don't even know about Steve Winwood, or certain eras are your Steve Winwood.
Right.
So this series, the 5 songs to start with, is more or less aimed at the people that are like, I know of Steve Winwood, or like I like this type of music. Someone told me about Steve Winwood. Where should I start? Mm-hmm. So these are the first 5 songs Lauren would tell you to listen to if you were looking to get into Steve Winwood. And the first 2 are coming out of other acts that he was in before he went solo.
Yes, and I did this list is in chronological order. You don't have to listen to them in this order, but I do think it makes sense to do so.
This is your list, but I probably would.
Yeah, I would. I did.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, we did by default.
I did, right. So the first one is Give Me Some Lovin' from Steve's time in the Spencer Davis group. And he was a little baby at this time. But like vocally, there's just so much soul. I feel like he's probably the guy for which the term blue-eyed soul like was coined.
Because
I mean, don't quote me on that, but like this is the earliest where I'm like, okay, look at this go. And his command of the organ in this song too, it just gives you glimmers of like the I don't throw the word genius around lightly, but like it gets thrown around with Steve Winwood quite a bit because he was so good, so young, and just kept getting better. Like you really get that in this track, and it's a fun song too.
So the only thing that I would mention about this that's funny for me is because you were talking about how like we heard these in order. When I was a kid, the first stuff I heard from Winwood was like Back in the High Life and that type of stuff. And over time I had heard Give Me Some Lovin', and I was like, God, that dude sounds just like Steve Winwood, like, because I've been wrong on that with other things. We'll take it offline, but I've been wrong with that with other things where I've heard stuff and been like, that sounds like so-and-so, and it's not.
And it's not.
So with this, I just for years assumed it wasn't Steve Winwood, and I was wrong.
Yep.
So now you move on to Traffic. Traffic, there's probably at least 10 songs you could have put in here, because it's so like, this is one of those things where I would say, like, if you hear this song that Lauren is going to talk about, there's probably a lot more you should listen to from Traffic.
Yeah, for sure. So I went with the song Stranger to Himself from the John Barleycorn Must Die album. Full disclosure, this is my favorite song from Traffic. And I just think it's cool. I love the whole vibe of this whole album, and I love what Steve was doing vocally here too, because it's like everything is pitch perfect, but also kind of not.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's really cool. Like the kind of just the command he had over stuff. Right. So this happened after he spent time in Blind Faith, and you can tell that he's different vocally, having gone through the Blind Faith stuff and on the other side with a track like this. And I just think it's fun.
Yeah. And like I said with Traffic, I'm not downplaying this song at all, but if you like this song, there's a lot more
There's
for
a
you
lot.
to
There's a
check
lot.
out. The next 3 are going to be from when he is solo act, Stevie Winwood. Now, the first one is from the Arc of a Diver record,
it's
right?
the opening track.
I will say this. Again, I hate to keep saying this about each entry, but I just recently heard this album for the first time and was blown away.
So good.
So if you like the song, if you listen to the song Lauren's going to talk about, you should probably just listen to the rest of this record before moving on.
This song, While You See a Chance, it is so good. It's so good. Like I'm having like this moment where I'm like hearing the opening synthy keyboard womp womp. Like you just have to hear this song, really. This song has everything, and Steve Winwood does everything on this song. There are no other people putting this music together. Yeah. It's just him, and it's so complex.
Which I had to double check the notes on the LP when we got it, because I don't think you knew if anyone else was playing on it or not. And we were like, "What?
What?
Yeah,
yeah." This is just him, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. This song is so fun, so upbeat, and it really tells you like what the Arc of a Diver album is gonna sound like and feel like. It's a great opening track and just a great song to get you into Steve's solo stuff.
And then now the last 2 on the list are from a slightly different era, but I don't mean this in a bad way at all. With a lot of artists, there is that like whether it's 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, there's a certain era where people are always like, I don't like their stuff from that era. I don't know anybody that doesn't like this stuff. And this was the first that I ever heard of Steve Winwood. So for me, it's kind of like the comfort Winwood.
For sure.
Right. But the first of the two.
Valerie, right? And Valerie is such an interesting thing in Steve Winwood's oeuvre because it came out and then didn't do much. I think it peaked at like 70 when it was released as a single. Like nobody really cared, right? But then around the time of Chronicle, it got a remix that did end up charting much higher, which then had people then go look back to like, oh, the original is just great too. They're fun to listen to like next to each other, the original Valerie and the remix.
The remix, yeah.
I think they're both great. You can't go wrong either way. But for me, the original is kind of where it's at.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to the one you heard first is probably the one you usually are gonna know. And I honestly I couldn't even tell you which one I heard first. I'm probably, like many people, probably the remix. Yeah. But it's such a great song, and it's one of those songs that like I know people of all walks of life who like, I've been shocked by people who, like, I just say this. I have a friend of mine who lives out west who very, very much loves like Latino music, and by Latino music I mean like non-Americanized at all. Like, and like as soon as this topic of Valerie comes up, he goes on about how much he loves this song and Steve Winwood. So like, it's always been interesting to me that like that it's such a universal song that so many people seem to love. The next song I feel like you might, I mean, it's a great song, but I think you include it mostly for the message that's in the song. But I would also argue that this is like very indicative of all of his 80s material. Sounds very similar to this song in a good way.
That's why that's also part of why I wanted to put, I was like, you know what, this kind of says everything that I want to say about this period of Steve Winwood's music, right? The finer things. I think this is a fun pop song. I think, and again, the message, like the verses are talking about how like, you know, you go through some stuff sometimes. But then the chorus, it's the finer things keep shining through. You know, you're going to find the good stuff among the bad stuff and just like keep looking for the finer things. And I love the juxtaposition of the kind of the tone of the verses versus the tone of the chorus. Like you can tell the verses are like, oh, okay, you know, stuff's going to happen. And then but the finer things keep, it's great. And it's a full circle kind of thing because I don't know about you, but like when I hear something like this, I remember that, you know, 20 years prior, there was a kid sitting behind a Hammond organ playing Give Me Some Lovin'. And that same soul is still there. And I think what's cool about this is, like, people can knock synths all they want, right? Like, I don't, like, you do.
I think it's less cool to do that now than it used to be, but I get your point.
Yes. When you get somebody like Steve Winwood who has such a command over, like, keys as an instrument, that soul is going to come through any electronic synth that you get. And like you hear it in While You See a Chance, Valerie, the finer things like that, that Hammond organ soul is coming through that synth in a way that like very few people can do that well. Agree. And I love all of it.
Yeah. So those are the first 5 songs Lauren would tell you to go listen to from Steve Winwood. If you get a chance, check those out. Or if you're already here because you're a big Steve Winwood fan, let us know like what you think of her picks or what you would pick. Instead, like even for me, there's probably different picks I would have, but like my experience with Steve Winwood is not as deep as yours is. So like I could probably pick, different fans have different opinions, and that's what we care about more than anything. Of course, we're going to say hit the like button on the video and the notification bell and all that. But what matters to us more than anything is the discussion. That's the whole reason we're doing the channel. Like these are just discussions we have in our car about music, and then we're sharing them with you and seeing if you want to be involved in the discussion as well. So if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button rather, because we have 3 videos every single week. That is Lauren. My name is Russ. As we always say, thank you so much for watching.